too raw for TV. So before I get into the video, I want to give a shout out to Ticket TV because they already did a video talking about this. Might have been last night or yesterday evening, one of the two. But so shout out to Ticket TV. But Tracy McGrady, who I guess rather famously or infamously, depending on how you look at it, I guess infamously, was snubbed on the top 75 all time list as far as NBA players is concerned. The list that supposedly was made by experts. Um, and recently, Tracy McGrady said something about how, in his opinion, he doesn't understand why Dwight Howard, who isn't on the list as well, why Dwight Howard was snubbed, but AD was on the list. And he mentioned how if you look at their resumes right now, how could you justify putting AD on the list and not Dwight Howard? And I think what people tend to do, which I think is, I mean, look, some people do it like that. Some people project. Some people look at what you've accomplished and they look at your age and they make a projection as to what you should do. When I think that's kind of, with very few players, with the exception of very few players, I don't think you really should do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, me personally, I like to reward guys who've had long careers. And even though I don't personally have Dwight Howard as a like as a definite top 75, to me he's borderline. To me he's on the border. Like to me, he could be top 80, and I'm fine with that. He could be just right outside the top 75. I don't have a real problem with that because yes, Dwight Howard has done a lot in his career, but when you look at his potential, when you look at who he was being compared to 10, 11, 12 plus years ago, when you look at the fact that he was pretty much seen as the best center in the NBA for a couple of years, you know what I'm saying? Before the rise of guys like Joel Embiid and DeMarcus Cousins, you know. And speaking of DeMarcus Cousins, that goes to show you how short people's memory spans are. Because it was just a couple of years ago where DeMarcus Cousins was seen as the best big man in the NBA. That wasn't that long ago, and he's only 31 years old. So this is my thing, man. I think Tracy McGrady, as he should be, he probably feels a certain type of way that he's not on that list, you know, and he might be using Dwight Howard as an example to show how fraudulent this list is, because guys like AD, definitely Dame Lillard, you know, you look at some of these guys on this list, and you look at how they've been playing, and you look at their accomplishments, and you look at some of the guys that they're put in front of, and you started wondering, like, well, what are they looking at? I mean, are they projecting? You know, like Dame Lillard, like I don't know, man. Dwight Howard, though, he has to me, if you look at their resumes right now, Dwight Howard has an impressive resume. I think he's what a three-time Defensive Player of the Year award winner. Led the league in blocks a couple of years. Led the league in rebounding several years. Took his team to an NBA Finals without the help of another superstar. I mean, you know that got exposed against the Lakers, but he did do that. You know, all of the baggage that Dwight Howard has, he did defeat LeBron James in the playoffs. You know, not that it's a one-on-one thing, but still, his team, which was not full of a bunch of stars, Michael Petrich and Rashard Lewis. I mean, you know, I mean, superstars. Michael Petrich, Rashard Lewis. Who else is on that team? Hito Turkoglu, um, Dwight Howard. Who's that point guard, man? Little short dude. Oh, I can't think of his name right now. Little small point guard. Um, I think Rayford also was on that team. So it wasn't like a superstar team, but they beat They beat LeBron and the favorite Cavaliers. So when you look at that, when you look at his resume, um, I think eventually he's going to have. I think he's going to have 3,000 career blocks or close to it. Right now, he has over 14,000 career rebounds, and he's just a few behind Nate Thurman. So he's probably going to pass Nate Thurman this year. He has more career rebounds than guys like Jerry Lucas, Dennis Rodman, Charles Barkley, Shaq. So he's going to pass still some more guys because I think he's only 35 years old, maybe 36. So he has a couple of more years left to add to his resume. And like I said, Dwight Howard is arguably top 75. Maybe when everything's said and done, you look at it, what he's accomplished. If somehow this Laker team wins a championship, maybe you got to look at Dwight Howard and say, well, maybe even without him maximizing his true potential, he's still top 75, just off the strength of his resume and what he's accomplished. But as far as my belief about Tracy McGrady, I do believe he's a top 75 all-time player. I don't understand why people have it in for McGrady as if he was this, like he's this bum. Like I don't understand people when they like this is the same dude that at one point in time was competing with Kobe as far as like the best shooting guard in the NBA for a while. And it's not like he only had 3 or 4 good years from 2000 to 2008, I believe, or 2009, which is a 9-year span. McGrady averaged 26 points and something like 5 rebounds, something like 5 assists. You know what I'm saying? This is a dominant scorer. And, even though he never got out of the first round, injuries did play a role in that. Let's not forget that Yao Ming's career ended because of foot injuries. So Yao didn't have the longest career. Um, that 2009 Rocket team was absolutely decimated by injuries. McGrady, Yao Ming got injured, and that was the beginning of the end for him. Shane Battier had injury problems. I think Mother World Peace had injury issues. He was on that team in 2009. That's right before he went to the Lakers in 2009, 2010. And Aaron Brooks, who's been in the NBA, he had injury problems that year. He was balling that year. Louis Scola, I think, was with the Rockets. He got injured that year. So we got to kind of delve deeper and not just look at things on the surface level. Oh, he never got out of the first round. Let's not forget that he was also playing in a very stacked conference where one of those years the AC had 50 wins or almost 50 wins. So let's not act like McGrady was playing against, like a weak conference like, a certain player had when his only competition was the Pacers, and maybe Toronto for a couple of years. But anyway, what you guys think?